Out there, time slows down. The air feels heavier, the silence deeper. And in that stillness, life reveals its true form. This is a journey through Kenya and Tanzania, 5 national parks and the raw beauty of life in the wild. With my camera in hand, I set out to capture those moments, fleeting traces of life and the silence that surrounds them. The first destination I visited was Amboseli National Park, located in Kenya. Covering an area of around 392 square kilometers, it was finally time for my long-awaited safari. It took around 5 hours of driving from Nairobi, passing through busy city roads and wide-open countryside. By the time I reached the park, the sun was starting to set. Together with my guide Bonsang, we headed out for our evening game drive to explore the wildlife. Almost immediately, I found myself face to face with the animals I had always dreamed of seeing. Amboseli is best known for its elephants set against the backdrop of Mount Kilimanjaro. Though the area receives little rainfall, the underground water flowing from Kilimanjaro creates year-round wetlands, attracting large herds of elephants. I was lucky to spot many families, even small calves walking beside their mothers. Elephants here eat up to 150 kilograms of grass and branches each day, and they move between their resting and feeding areas mainly in the early morning and late afternoon. Because their daily route crosses the same tracks used by safari vehicles, it's often possible to see herds of elephants walking just a few meters away, a breathtaking sight you will never forget. When the sun goes down, a different side of savanna comes to life. Not only the elephants, but many other wildlife begin to move, and I even spotted a male lion. I'll talk more about him later, but for now, that was how the first day came to an end. Early the next morning, just before the sunrise, I witnessed something unforgettable. A large herd of elephants had formed a tight circle, adults facing outwards, protecting the calves in the center. This defensive behavior is known as bunching, a way elephants respond to possible threats like lions. Nearby, 2 Thompson's gazelles were locking horns, a way for males to compete for territory and the right to mate. Later that day, I encountered a family of wild baboons. They live in tight-knit groups with a clear social structure and eat almost anything, fruits, seeds, and even insects. The ones I met seemed completely at ease, sitting on the roadside, focused only on their meal. We drove through wetlands and shallow pools with the great Mount Kilimanjaro in the distance. At one point, we even saw lionesses moving carefully towards the herd of elephants. The vastness and the raw energy of Kenya's wilderness left me absolutely speechless. Leaving Amboseli behind, I headed south towards Tanzania. To cross the border, I had to say goodbye to my guide Bonsang.
はじめまして。はじめまして。よろしくお願いします。ラマさん。ラマと申します。はい、よろしくお願いします。
And just like that, my next adventure begun. Tarangire National Park is located in northern Tanzania, not far from the town of Arusha. It's smaller than most of the other major parks, but within its boundaries stretches the savanna dotted with the baobab trees, creating one of the most iconic landscapes in East Africa. Because the area is compact, it's possible to see plenty of wildlife even in a single day. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to spot a group of lionesses relaxing under a tree, completely unbothered by passing vehicles. But the real surprise came later, during our lunch break. At the picnic site, we were greeted by some velvet monkeys, small, curious primates with soft white and gray fur. For them, these stops are the perfect place to hunt for food. Feeding them is of course strictly prohibited, but even if you're careful, they can still be quick enough to grab what they want. In my case, one of them mistook the passport hanging from my neck.
It's not a food. It's my passport.
Velvet monkeys who live in close family groups are incredibly intelligent. Over time, they've learned that stealing food from tourists is much easier than finding in the wild. After this unexpected encounter, we left Tarangire behind and continued our journey to Ngorongoro, home to one of the largest craters on Earth. Ngorongoro is one of the largest unbroken cultivars in the world, formed about 2 to 3 million years ago. The crater is about 610 meters deep and covers an area of around 260 square kilometers. What makes this place truly unique is its vast open space, a massive circular basin that now serves as a natural home for thousands of wild animals.
さあ、ンゴロンゴロに来ました。今ね、チェックインをしてサファリの中に入っていきます。
Along the way down from the rim, I saw a large group of giraffes. The crater floor has very few tall trees, and the slopes are too steep for giraffes to climb back up, so they mostly stay around the upper areas where they can feed safely. As we drove down around 600 meters, passing a few baboons on the roadside, a whole new world appeared before us. A paradise for wildlife. Herds of wildebeest, zebras, gazelles, buffaloes, and warthogs fill the plains. This incredible balance exists because each species feed on different types or height of grass, allowing them to coexist peacefully without direct competition. Living close together also helps them sense danger. When predators approach, the reaction of one herd alerts the others nearby. Thousands of wild beasts seems to welcome us as we entered. Their calves are born with light brown coats, which darken to a deeper gray as they grow, usually within 2 months. Wildebeest horns curve outward and then inward, forming a strong crescent shape, and the males often spared to establish territory and show strength within the herd. Among the famous Big Five, I was lucky enough to see buffaloes and even black rhino from a distance. Rhinos here are extremely shy and prefer to stay far from the main roads, so spotting one is truly rare. Hyenas wandered across the plains too. Alone, they aren't very strong, so zebras and other grazers seemed only mildly concerned by their presence. One special moment here was spotting the gray-crowned crane, Uganda's national bird, easily recognized by its golden crown of feathers. Compared to Amboseli and Tarangire, the diversity and number of wild animals here were overwhelming. It truly felt like witnessing a miracle of survival, a world where every life depends on another.
さあ、おはようございます。ンゴロンゴロのね、ロッジを出て、今日からセレンゲティの方に向かいます。朝、非常にいい天気です。はい、今日もラマさんにね、陸路で5時間ぐらいかけてセレンゲティの方に向かっていただきます。
5 hours by road to reach the Serengeti. Technically, it borders the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, but once you enter, you realize the scale is on a completely different level. As soon as we passed through the park gate, we were greeted by massive herd of wildebeest stretching as far as the eye could see. It wasn't the peak season for the Great Migration, but thousands of wildebeest were still moving together, traveling across the plains to search for fresh grass. A little further along, we came across a family of cheetahs resting under the shade. The cubs were lying close to their mother, completely relaxed. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals on Earth, built for short bursts of incredible speed. Yet, in moments like this, they look surprisingly calm and gentle. Later, we spotted a lion family, dozing after a big meal.
Lionesses.
Nearby, the remains of wildebeest reminded us of the raw cycle of life here. Sleeping, they looked as peaceful as house cats, but once awake, their eyes told a different story, the face of true predator. And that contrast is what makes lions so fascinating. As the sun began to set, we made our way to the camp for the night. A simple tent in the middle of the Serengeti, quiet, wild, and endless. And maybe it was a true African welcome, but around this time, I started feeling an unexpected stomachache.
さあ、絶賛食当たり中なんですけれども、最高なところに来ましたね。ちょっとね、お腹がね、ゆるゆるすぎてちょっと私気をつけないと明日から乗り越えられないんでね、早めに寝たいと思います。今日は。
Day 2 in the Serengeti begins with the hot air balloon safari.
Remember that there's going to be 4 people in the top, 4 people in the bottom, and 2 groups different. Okay?
We handed our bags to the staff for safekeeping and later found some amazing footage they captured before takeoff. The experience cost around $700. Not cheap, but it's truly worth it. In Tanzania's national parks, drones and unnamed aircraft are strictly prohibited, so seeing wildlife from the sky is rare and unforgettable opportunity. As the balloon slowly rose into the air, everything fell silent except for the sound of the burners and the wind. From that point on, you simply let the wind decide where to take you. From the sky, we could see herds of wildebeest, buffalo, and even hippos resting near the water. The sheer number of animals spread across the land was astonishing. After about an hour in the air, the flight came to a smooth end.
There you go.
Later that afternoon, we were incredibly lucky. We spotted a leopard, one of the rarest members of Africa's Big Five. Unlike cheetahs, leopards are powerful climbers, often resting or hiding their prey high up in the trees. While cheetahs rely on speed, leopards rely on strength and stealth. After enjoying everything the Serengeti had to offer, it was time to move on to our final destination, the Masai Mara National Reserve.
今日は、タンザニア最終日、マサイマラに向かいます。さあ、今、タンザニアとケニアの国境に来まして、ケニアのね、イミグレを通過したところでございます。ガイドのラマさんとは今日でお別れということでね、またね、ボンさんと一緒に旅行して
行きたいと思います。ラマさんや5日間ありがとう。ラマさんありがとう。Thank you。じゃあここからまたケニアの旅に戻ります。After crossing the border, it took about 5 hours to reach the Masai Mara. At the park's entrance, I noticed something quite striking. Real elephant and hippo skulls displayed near the gate, which visitors are even allowed to touch. As we entered the reserve, I saw something I hadn't seen in any of the other parks. Controlled burning, where rangers intentionally set fire to the dry grass.
Grass and green is palatable,
Okay,
sweet, because tall grass is not good for them.
okay,
So that is why they burn that area.
Not long after, we came across a pride of lionesses resting in the open grass. In lion families, it's usually the females who raise the cubs, and they're also the main hunters of the pride. I counted 3 lionesses, each keeping a careful eye on their young, powerful yet gentle. A perfect picture of motherhood in the wild. Male lions, on the other hand, spend most of their time resting, often sleeping far away from the pride. They usually step in only when it's time to protect the group or take down large prey. Flies constantly gather around their eyes, so they rub their faces against thorny bushes, a kind of natural face wash unique to lions. I was lucky enough to film a male lion up close. He had just woken up, his eyes half open. For a moment, our eyes met. It was both thrilling and terrifying. Around the Mara, I also spotted elephants, impalas, and eagle. We even saw a black-backed jackal throttling through the burnt grasslands. Even though I could have watched these animals forever, I felt completely satisfied. And that was the end of my safari, across 5 national parks and reserves in Kenya and Tanzania. Two unforgettable weeks, living in a dream I'd had for so long. Time here flowed differently. Each day in the wild felt longer, deeper than any single day I'd ever spent in the city. It was a world both beautiful and unforgiving, where only the strongest survive, yet everything coexists in a fragile balance. If this video helps even one person feel the magic of safari or see the beauty of these animals, then I couldn't ask for more.
暑いし眠い。
でーすっげー Once again, to my 2 incredible guides, Bon-san and Rama-san, thank you for making this journey possible. Thank you so much.
Okay.
See you. Asante. Asante. And to everyone watching, thank you so much for being part of it. See you in the next adventure.